Yu-Gi-Oh! Despite what you may hear, I'm a genuine fan of the series, even though it has its faults. The anime, the video games, and the collectibles I've watched, played, and obtained a fair amount throughout my life. But one can't absorb all this media without growing an opinion on them. Give a brief summary of them and what I've enjoyed. The anime. I've enjoyed thoroughly growing up and I'm still able to go back to today and enjoy here and there. At least most of them. The collectibles. The collectibles, I can say with all honesty, has been a roller coaster, having its ups and downs. At highest highs, collecting cards, trying them out, and exciting new strategies. Lowest lows, they sit in a box looking pretty and out of sight, praying for a day to be touched, like everyone else right now. I love them, but due to having no friends, getting longer effects, the length of a college thesis, and just as complicated, I stopped collecting more cards. Though it has been tempting on more than one occasion. The games. Of course, last and certainly not least, we have the games, the topic of today's video. With Master Duel's recent release, it has me thinking of other games in the series. Now I should say, chances are there's a fair amount of repetitiveness in the games, considering it's a children's card game. But some titles have definitely surprised me in my history with them. So we're going to look at a handful of them together, but I may boast about some and harp on others. What better game to start than Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories for the PS1. Released in North America on March 20th, 2002, this game follows you, but not really. It actually follows the Pharaoh A10 and his vastly younger counterpart Yugimoto, from the show in both past and present respectively, dueling foes old and new to protect the peace and the world itself. This game is leagues different from the duels we know today. Deck limits, no summon cost, this weird fusion that combines cards to possibly make stronger ones, and using cosmic bodies as an attack modifier. But notably, it had a card info system that allows you to physically put cards you own into the game. From my own experience, I remember playing it often, but not very long. Between the mechanics that my young mind couldn't grasp, and my younger self using every card I had to see the outcome, this game more often than not collected dust and I never finished it. Looking back, probably a smart move. It was a good attempt at an adaptation of the popular card game and anime, and they tried again with the game Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels of the Roses, PS2. Released in North America February 16th, 2003, believe it or not, has the same premise as the previous game, except it's in England. Following you, no frill this time, you fight on either side of good or evil to collect MacGuffins known as Rose Cards to destroy the world or save it. The cast this time around is the same characters we saw last time, except posing as historical figures. The gameplay could be summarized as playing cards as chess pieces. It turned a one-on-one playing card game into Fire Emblem, placing your cards on the field which can be affected by special tiles on the board, then advancing and destroying opposing monsters till your enemy king is injected and thoroughly defeated. As odd as it already sounding, they brought 3D modeled characters to fight in special arenas to spice up the dueling. They also brought back their unusual fusion mechanic. Fun. Along with Forbidden Memories, this also collected dust on my shelf. As neat as the 3D monster battles were, and playing the Fire Emblem with Yu-Gi-Oh cards, the fusion mechanics still felt too awkward, and the gameplay was slow like ordering something without premium shipping. But of course, Yu-Gi-Oh kept trying new things in the game mode. Some work. This next one kinda does. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters for the Game Boy Advance. Released in North America February 12, 2003, this game was based off an arc of the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, where rival duelist Duke Devlin introduced and challenged Yugimoto to his own game to wipe the floor with Yugi. There's no story for the game, just a tournament where you fight opponents familiar and unknown until you become number 1. The gameplay mirrors that of the show, where you roll the dice and use those dice as game pieces to build the board, opening up to reveal the monster, making the dungeon and making your way to the opposing dungeon master to defeat them. The dice dictate everything, from summoning to movement to attacking. Luck decides and can be swayed a bit. Each monster has its own dice and on its faces actions to use and earn. Now this has potential but also has pitfalls. Good dice doesn't guarantee victory. You're at the mercy of chance, earning everything you need or falter being stuck. Far too long. Bring a fun game about rolling dice to sitting on breaking ice waiting for that big crack to slowly make its way to you. Unfortunately, this was my experience, helplessly frozen waiting for dice to roll in my favor. It definitely has a slow start, but from experience can get better the more you play and earn. Speaking of earning, the next game earns a gold star in trying their best. Yu-Gi-Oh! Destiny Board Traveler for the Game Boy Advance. Released in North America March 18, 2004, this game was an attempt at Mario Party, but with cards instead. Yes, that is as fun as it sounds. You pick out your character from the many familiar ones in the show, all of them having unique abilities and cards playing around the board so you collect enough stars to obtain victory. The gameplay involves dice and cards in an unexpected way. Starting with the cards, they behave like normal until the dice comes into play. You choose up to 6 cards and apply them to the faces of the die. Once rolled, the monster decided dictates how far you travel with its level. Depending on the space, you either fight a monster, summon a monster, or activate a board event. Battle handles oddly. Normal to start until a dice is rolled that can affect the duel in drastic ways. If victory is achieved, you summon a monster. If a loss, no summon and take damage. Finally, the monster's levels on the field add up to victory conditions. The game tries a lot to be something good, but kind of fails in my eyes. There's only one thing to do, walk in a circle to battle. It's NASCAR with shopping carts, warped wheels and all. But for something nice, they have voice-acted characters. In all, I couldn't enjoy this game more than one sitting, and haven't. Every time I tried it, it felt like I was making no progress. But if progress is the subject, the next game definitely made leaps and bounds. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Duel Academy for the Game Boy Advance. Released in North America January 10th, 2006. This game is wonderful and truly an advancement from all the games played previously. This game follows you at Duel Academy, where you've just arrived and you get to have the dueling school experience. We have new characters this time. No original cast, but the GX cast. The story follows the first season of GX, and there's actually a goal in mind this time, other than dueling. You have to climb the ladder up the ranks of Duel Academy, from Slifer Red to King of Games, by clashing cards against the alumni and taking tests. What do you expect? It's still school. The gameplay is a breath of fresh air from the previous titles. It's straightforward, just dueling. With an updated roster and ban lists, there's plenty of strategies to utilize. Now, I've been avoiding this topic up until now about how cards are gained. Games before, you earn them as rewards, missing out on one of the key factors of card games. This game solves it in a way future games followed, and in my eyes became the gold standard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. Earning currency. You earn credits after duels, no matter in victory or loss. Credits used to buy specialty card packs and build your collection, watching the glossy cards pass by. The other notable things include taking exams to boost your ranking, making appointments to duel, and traveling around the academy to meet duelists ready for a challenge. Now, it's no surprise that I sing high praises of this game. I remember playing it in my free time, especially during school hours when I was seated at PC. This game had great potential, and unlike others so far, it ran with it all the way to the finish. The most solid Yu-Gi-Oh! Game Boy Advance games, in my opinion. But it doesn't end there. For this game, it just made the wax wings. For the next ones, they soared to the summit where the heavens met the sky. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force on the PSP. Released in North America November 18th, 2006, this game is notably very similar to the Game Boy Advance GX game in concept, but also evolved. The story, the locations, and the characters roughly all the same. So here's what's new. The game visually looks leagues better than its predecessors. The objective has been linked with the story. There's animations now for summoning, attacking, and players to spice up the wow factor and feel more like the anime. And you can actually explore the island you're staying at, dueling not just main characters but fellow schoolmate NPCs. And as the cherry on top, the card input system is back, allowing you to rent cards you physically own or know the code to at a minor cost. The gameplay is straightforward, just like the last game, just dueling with an updated roster. In fact, games going forward keep this trend, so until I need to, just assume this is the standard. So then, what's new? Starting off, the biggest change, instead of dueling one-on-one, they double it. Tag duels work where players alternate turns. There are two things that are shared between partners, the board and health. Each player uses their own cards and places them on the field. There's no limitations, so you can use your partner's cards and vice versa. Having cards that synergize with your partner is vital. You don't want to clash with your teammate when you should be clashing opponents. On the topic of cards, the card shop is improved, allowing vastly more options, including cards from specific characters' repertoire. Now, opening packs is fun, but the game fixed a problem you may not even consider yet. The same machine allowing you to rent cards allows you to convert your spares into new cards, recycling and turning coal into diamonds. To finish off, the duelists you partner with have an affinity that you can raise by having the right conversations, or a cat, or the third alternative of shoving food down their throat until they like you. I can say this is the start of a long line of excellence. The lowest it goes, it's still better than most of the titles, and the highest it soars topples all other contenders without question. It's like David and Goliath, but David is a Glock. Without question, I love what this game accomplished, and I love its descendants, like... Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Tag Force 2 on the PSP. Released in North America, September 18th, 2007. Skipping everything we know already, and going forward, we're going to speak solely of what's new. This game follows Season 2 of the GX anime, which introduced new characters and new cards. The stories are now tied to the characters, and more so, you get to choose your partner. With improved affinity, by the way. There's minigames to play, including Snake, Worms, Go, Blackjack, and Descent into the Dark Void to earn credits. I have to admit, the minigames are distractions and nothing more. I'm not especially a fan of them. The animations for monsters are now active, no matter who summons them. You get the option of single duels, tag duels, and making your partner fight in your plays. There are new ways to obtain cards, literally finding them on the campus. I love that they place them in places that relate to where you are, such as finding fish types by the docks. Very cute. Notably, there's a guy who sells alternative art versions of some cards. There's a new Destiny draw function, where you mark a card, and in dire straits, you can draw any card you put a Destiny tag on, which can really save your bacon in a pinch. Now, there's nothing new with the card packs, but notably I'd like to give attention to how you get to purchase any pack in the card box, or even the whole box if you please, which is just polished, showing how neat these games are. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 3. Released in Japan, November 27, 2008. Just to explain a little, Tag Force 3 never released in North America, and unfortunately, they do this at least 2 more times on my list. It needs no explanation, this takes place during the 3rd season of the anime, which brings in characters from then. It has not that much new, sadly. There's exactly one new minigame, catch food in your mouth. Easy, but not that fun. Sorry again. But there is still things to talk about. For instance, PSP had a neat feature that they stole from Nintendo, where games like the Tag Force series could hold the game and insert a previous title's UMD to receive rewards. Yes, PSP actually made Stop and Swap a reality. No offense, but I appreciate the better alternative of checking my save data for previous titles. Now to end Tag Force 3 on a high note, I'm unaware how many people actually know of this, but in the manga, Synchro Summons actually appeared in GX first, and likewise, you can get Synchro cards in the game as well. So, nice for Konami for keeping good on your source material. That being said, I can understand why we didn't get this title. At least the story events are cool. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 4. Released in North America, November 17th, 2009, this is where things started picking back up. They basically made it simpler, which I can appreciate. To start, the art style got overhauled, exchanging a tilted top-down perspective and 3D environment with obstacles to a 2D side-scroller with sprites that can walk around on the X and Y axis. The map this time around is vast, giving nearly double what we had previously. It also gives tournaments for the first time in my knowledge, and little events that boost affinity. The game traded choosing your partner to start, and went back to encountering them. Speaking of which, they redone the partner concept and turned it into a dating sim of sorts, giving gifts and flattering characters and all. Talking has 4 options, which gives minigames, but definitely mini and not terrible. The first is name that card. 3 names linked to a face button. Choose the right one, go closer to friend. The second is Rochambeau. Call your hand correctly, boom, they elect you more. The last is like the classes in the last two games, except way less complicated. Just get very good to the best of your ability, and bada boom, they love you now. The game even has a creative way to tell you how many attempts you get with the stars on the cards. The Magnifique. The final option is Locate a Friend, which just reveals the location of the main characters on the map. They brought back finding cards too. Very cool, except it's unlimited, so you can walk around and find new cards each day if you're lucky. Finally, they learned from the past games and put everything you want in one place. Card shop, password machine, rent machine, and even the new present lottery all in one place. Ezzy Pezzy. They updated a few things in the dueling aspect. You no longer see your teammates' cards due to a new gimmick called Partner Synchro, where if you're close enough with them, you can see the cards and even choose what they play. Probably don't use it. I definitely loved playing this one growing up and was my gateway into these portable games and their superiority. Onward to Tag Force 5. Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 5. Released in North America October 26, 2010, this took place during Season 2 of the 5Ds anime, and introducing the characters that followed. Now, the amount of things that have changed is dwindling, besides the new cards and added new strategies, but I still have things to speak of, such as quality of life details, including purchasing card packs. There's percents on the lower right hand that shows you how much of that particular pack you've collected. And the fact that in your deck building menu you can put tabs on cards to look over for later, the layouts you can have your cards displayed, you get well over 20 decks available to save, and even other people's decks you can copy and use as your own. The polish is truly shimmering on these games, and other titles wish it can do what Tag Force series does. I can also mention that in the last game, the card converter got canned, but replaced it in this one for a prayer statue. If you pray hard enough, this creeper won't die to blue eyes. Would you look at that? Truthfully, this is way better. Instead of getting a chance at a good card, you're guaranteed it. You sacrifice cards, and the statue allows you to copy a card you own, which is fantastic if you don't want to try your luck at the card shop. Overall, a welcome change. Unfortunately, this was the last of the Tag Force games released, at least in the Gold US of A. In other parts of the world, they got Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 6. Released in Japan September 22nd, 2011, this takes place during the final season of 5Ds and having characters from that season. Once again, not having much new, except new cards, new strats, Wait. Why the hell are Xyz cards here? Yes, once again, the new hotness is shown off a little early, and it feels odd for sure, but still welcome. The map has increased after each game, growing in size, putting more NPCs in those new locales. What's also changed is the mingling, as in, the last two games Rochambeau is gone, but exchanged for a simple addition, a synchro monster, and fill in the blank. I think it's an okay change, not too bad. Also, something I forgot to mention, the higher the affinity, the harder the mingling minigames become. It's never unmanageable. Finally, to end things off, something that absolutely blew my mind even when making this video and script. These games, to a point, have been voice acted. I found out that as recently as Tag Force 5, in Japanese it's voice acted, and it's really cool. Voice acting by, I assume, the OG cast in the anime. Which, by the way, means Tag Force 6 is the most anime-feeling game, with 3D models that gesture and move like true duelists. And even these games having access to some anime-exclusive cards. This game definitely shot for the stars in Sword of the Cosmos. But it got lost in space, only to find its final descendant had ascended to the pinnacle of its life. It became, in my opinion, a cosmic deed that trumps all other games, and we've never got it in North America. Son of a...
Yugioh Arc 5 Tag Force Special.
Released in Japan, January 22nd, 2015, this game is the creme de la creme of Tag Force titles, and the GOAT of all Yu-Gi-Oh games in all. And of course, we never got to see it sparkle. Oh, what a crime it is. This game follows you for the final time, taking place where, you may ask? Yes. That's not a joke either. You're welcome to play through all the animes from the original show with Yugi Atem to the Arc V show with Yuya. It goes above and beyond, skipping small child who goes Super Saiyan and shot straight to teenager that swings crystal from left to right to vomit up cards on the board. Of course, it isn't just solely main characters. That's the idea of inferior games. They give you 5 characters per season to partner with, 3 to start, and more once you complete a storyline. After you choose your partner and are taken through their introduction, there's a lot to talk about. Starting off, the map got a downgrade. No longer areas to explore, but a map of duelists to fight. Some familiar, some not. This does in fact mean this game is pure dueling. It goes back to bare bones, and this isn't entirely negative. If one didn't like looking around finding cards in past games, or having time constraints along with tracking down certain people, then congrats, this game is what you're looking for. Next up is the duel statue, redone a little bit to instead gain currency as long as you max out on card copies. It still offers the same service as copying a card you own, but of course, doing one thing alone isn't enough for Tag Force Special. So it also has alternative music to purchase, so making your decks could be a little bit more interesting. Allows you to purchase more card packs to get more options, and you can unlock the ban list, use cards which are normally forbidden. Veering off on looking at the map, we have the deck building menu, and off the bat, we get access to our partner's cards. I'm unaware if older Tag Force titles had this feature, but it's definitely amazing to update your teammate's deck to be more versatile. And even better, they have 3 copies of every card you own for convenience. Finally, there's an option to trade decks if you ever want to give your partner broken cards instead. Moving on to everyone's favorite place, the shop. This game's shop is S tier without question, having loads of cards to choose from and varieties from OG to early Arc V. The options are endless. But this isn't everything the shop has. It's got polish so strong you can see yourself in it. The details are insane. For example, not only are the card packs from the real life game, but the chances of getting rare pulls are basically 1 to real life. That's so cool. Also, for the first time, they sell deck packs from Mysteries Past. Really feeling so nostalgic because growing up, you bought all of these to get amazing cards and make something neat. As a cherry on top, the card seller changes depending on which area you're in. Finally, there's the namesake, Dueling. Once again, bringing in voice acting, which blew my mind for the first time and brought me a smile.
さあ、俺とゲームをしようぜ。
俺は真のデュエリストになる。
全てをぶつけ合おうぜ。勝ち負けはその後だ。
俺を満足させてくれよ。俺は未来を救う。
私にもデュエル楽しめるかな。
カットビングだ俺。
さあ、僕のこと楽しませてよね。
レディース&ジェントルメン、
デュエルだ。
A difficulty rating for those not feeling that confident in their skills. It could be adjusted at any time, mind you. And finally, space is exclusive to Pendulum cards, which makes the game really feel like a time capsule. Throughout the years of enjoying them, the Tag Force saga has been a delight in my life, and setting the standard for good Yu-Gi-Oh games as an honest recommendation. If you want what made Tag Force unique, play 6. If you want something as close as possible to real life, play Special. Although it may be difficult, it's not impossible. Verbal wink. Now after a marathon of card games in the standard format, let's take a reprieve in a surprising twist on Yu-Gi-Oh! For the Nintendo Wii. Released in North America May 19, 2009, during the days of Synchros, Tuners, and Dragons, 5Ds had the idea that was tantalizing yet extremely dangerous: playing a children's card game in a mobile vehicle. This sounds as good an idea as playing a children's card game in a mobile vehicle. They glorified the idea of riding a motorcycle and dueling one another at high speeds. Thankfully, most people watching couldn't drive, let alone own a license, not to mention high speeds and pretty cardboard don't mix. How do they make a market on the idea of high-octane monster mashing and spell slinging? A racing game, of course. Starring you, but it's not the same. You drive around in wicked-looking motorcycles in an attempt to progress through a speed duel tournament, and the story this game has. Facing off against primarily cast in the show that use duel runners, the gameplay can be compared to most racing games. You race around and grab power-ups, except in this, the damaging abilities are given just as much focus, if not more, than the racing. You play normally, racing around the track, until you collect card holograms on the road. This is you drawing a card, and cards vary different from the normal format. You have monsters who act the most normal. They are summoned to your side along for the ride, attacking and using abilities with no restrictions on summoning. And you have the spells and traps, which usually affect the vehicles from its speed boost to slowing opponents. Now doing anything is commanded by speed counters. Playing cards, summoning monsters, and even attacking require them. Luckily, you earn them passively, but can earn them actively by collecting orbs on the track. Now for monsters, we have 3 types: attack, defense, and explosions! Assuming that the first 2 are self-explanatory, explosion is an attack, but boom. Joking aside, attack has homing for monsters, but explosion has little to no tracking, but they do blast on impact no matter the surface. The final things to make note of: a deck can only hold 15 cards. Tuner monsters reduce their cost and empower synchro monsters, and you can modify the stats of your bike using cards. All in all, it's very neat in concept, but in my opinion handles oddly. Compared to the other racing games, it's definitely cool to see your favorite cards right alongside you, but there's way better games to play. I still recommend trying it if you can find it. It's surprisingly high priced. Speaking of high prices, the next list feels so expensive it's almost a ripoff. Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Duels for various consoles. Released in North America March 26, 2014, this game and all like it on future and past iterations are bare bones Yu-Gi-Oh! Now you'd think, considering the gold star that is Tag Force Special, it's akin to Millennium Duels in concept. Except, where Tag Force Special ascends, Millennium Duels fails. Here's why. The gameplay is just Yu-Gi-Oh! Very straightforward. You duel as the main character in most of these games, others as the Vagabond, and battle one-on-one. Sometimes it's a tourney, sometimes it's a ladder. In a sense, you have a choice, but not really. There's nothing to add about actual battles, since there's nothing different besides the most recent game having Link monsters. They brought back cutscenes for special and signature monsters, and they look pretty good and more realistic compared to previous titles. Now cards. They, in these games, are earned randomly or purchased. Remembering the older ones, you had to pay actual money to get some DLC packs, which is horrid. But there's a silver lining. After some digging, it's come to my attention that the most recent iteration of these games takes from Tag Force, where you earn in-game currency to spend on what can be loosely described as card packs. That being said, I've definitely been spoiled by the GOAT, Tag Force Special. In my experience, these games have been train wrecks. From the 5Ds version, where it's just tournament mode and you lose till you win, or Millennium Duel version where it got better, but paying to win with DLC cards is pretty bad. That being said, Learning about the improvements Legacy of the Duelists put in place, I may just give it a shot. Overall, I would avoid the former titles in this line and give Legacy a look. Looking back, there's plenty of ups and downs in this video, but let's end it on a high note.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links.
For PC and mobile. Released in North America on November 17th, 2016, this game takes Yu-Gi-Oh! And cuts it in half, leaving plenty of flaws and perks in its wake. Playing through OG Duel monsters to currently Arc V. Wait, this sounds familiar. This game allows you to play as the main characters from the shows, and even some side characters, going as far as to play in the world they come from. There's even events constantly allowing more to be unlocked all the time. That's enough of the surface, let's get to the nitty gritty. This game is exactly as I said, Yu-Gi-Oh! Cut in half. This means that X-Eyes is limited to 30 max. The field is limited to 6 spots total, not including the field spell zone, and life points are reduced to 4,000 like in the anime. These may sound like drawbacks, but honestly it could be good fun and make some cards that would be mediocre in the standard game excel here, bringing forth loads of creativity. Some positive things to make note of. They brought back card summon animations. Each character you play as has a list of skills. You can use one during the duels to give you an advantage. The characters are voice acted, which surprised me the first time I played. I swore I said this before. There's loads of cards to choose from and varieties from OG to early Arc V. The options are, and I swear I'm having deja vu. Okay, let's focus on something else. I got it. So rewards are interesting here. You earn a lot just by playing the game, which is great. Characters have levels that you can unlock to earn rewards, currency, and even special items. You also earn from dueling NPCs and yourself, aka Vagabond, known to every other game in existence. This game also loves giving out gifts, from card vouchers to currency to buy things. Onward to the shop. This card shop isn't the best, but it has its benefits. The positives include, you get to see what you're getting along with knowing the chances for getting the card. There's loads of packs to pick and even deck boxes. There's special select card boxes that have extra rare cards to obtain, and plenty of customization options in card sleeves and mats. Now, onto the negatives. So with no surprise, I favor earning my cards and ways to buy them. That being said, this game doesn't shy away from buying currency to get better cards so you win easier. Honestly, buying cards is inevitable, but luckily for me, I've done so to this day completely without a single microtransaction. So it's possible, with a dash of luck. Finally, to top everything off, a subject I've never talked about. Multiplayer. A good handful of the games I've gone over had some form of multiplayer at one point or another. But in every case, the next generation of consoles released, players migrated, and the game stopped supporting online play. But for Duel Links, it's still very accessible and allows others to play currently, and play on the go. Now it goes without saying, a card game is roughly a competitive game, where you match not only wits, but chance, with cards and playing them alike. But the competitive side of things can be very cutthroat and not new player friendly. You can expect plenty of people with powerful cards and strategies that can find plenty of new and creative ways to beat you into submission. It's easy to forget how punishing this franchise can be by only playing solo. But if you're up for a challenge, go in for the plunge. As a little pin attached to this topic, there's plenty of events in-game that changes things up in vastly different ways, even bringing in tag duels. Well, now I'm upset. They show that they can basically release a new tag force, yet they don't. Well, could be worse. They could reboot the series with wacky rules and have characters that resemble Ape Escape. Oh my god! Now, I'd like to talk about my experience shortly about this and any current games like it. One of the core rules of card games is to have fun, obviously. But particularly in order to have fun, you have to actually play the game. Sometimes cards and strategies can disable a lot of other cards and basically deny you or an opponent from playing altogether. And speaking from experience, it's definitely not fun. I'm not about to dictate how things can be fixed, or even if it can. Future of the games can possibly change, but it obviously favors and encourages spending lots of money to have a chance at being great. It's this knowledge that brought this video to life. You can do what you want. If you want to throw money at Yu-Gi-Oh to get cards that obviously wreck anything in your path, that's fine. I definitely gotten attached to some cards that spank cheeks so hard people feel it next week. But there's nothing wrong with stepping away. I want to encourage you to try out one of the games I've talked about in these videos, where things weren't as complicated as they are now, where we didn't have to have unbeatable boards that you have to bring something just as OP to have a chance. And most importantly, actually having fun. Because at the end of the day, that's why I play. To have fun. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you for hearing out everything I had to say. I'd like to thank everyone who helped out with the reviews, the scripts for this project. Thank the cool people that hopefully allowed me to use their footage. Thank Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole, because a lot of my youth was spent enthralled with you. Thank you again, and with all that being said, for lack of a better outro, I'll see you next. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. All available platforms. Released everywhere, January 18th, 2022. This game is the current standard for Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole, becoming the ultimate way to enjoy the card game in a digital format. It's the standard card game built with previous and future styles of playing in mind, allowing for updates to grant cards for any future releases. Hosting events to mix up the meta and customizations to show off your style and flair. Sounding great so far. Okay, I'm pumped. Let's see the details. The gameplay, big surprise, is just playing the regular format with updated roster of cards. You have a limited amount of decks available to save, as well as a banless roster that's ever changing as the months go by. You also have a single player experience, giving out rewards and expertly crafted stories using card lore. They act as tutorials to introduce you to new archetypes and playing styles, graciously giving you the option to play using their cards or your own. The cherry on top, all the small polish they added to the background details. Sound design is top tier, swelling in excitement as big plays happen in real time. The game board is very interactive, acting like a minor fidget toy as you click on things that feel very reminiscent of another online card game. Do those always look that way? How about we focus on the shop, everyone's favorite place? The store has plenty to take in, from structure decks to accessories. You have numerous amounts of options, is what I would say, except this isn't exactly true. You see, what they did instead of what worked before is got greedy. Microtransactions, everyone's favorite words. They sell fast passes to being good at this game. Instead of grinding and working hard for your unlocks with daily challenges and rewards, just buy your way in. Throwing money at the issue doesn't not fix everything. Along with that, they have archetype packs behind unlock conditions. Big 3 purchase options, 2 in rotation every month, and 1 that's useless. Bonus packs that you earn passively, which sounds nice, but 2 cards a pack and a fair amount of good cards are hidden in here. It starts feeling unfair when you get a lot of nothing. Structure decks. Woo! Are they busted? Yes, they are. Accessories. Are they pretty? Yeah. No, that's it. And finally, the bread and butter. Specials tab. You got the bread. Master Duels Battle Pass. Highly recommended if you're going to be playing a lot. And the butter. Bundle deals. Giving a magnificent card and vanilla pulls, and all for a lower price. I'll take that buttered toast now, please. Delicious. Moving on to multiplayer. It's been moments and I already feel ill. There's plenty to talk about. Mostly negative. We have, as of writing and recording, exactly 4 ways to play against others. To make things easy, we'll go through one by one. Ranked. It's hell on earth. I would recommend either copying someone's busted deck to sweep the ashes of your opponent off the playing field, or pray to Papa RNGesus that your super cool Kerbal Turbo Engine can wipe the floor with the literal onslaught of no, block, no times infinity. Is that even legal? And let's just burn your deck to be sure. GG, well played. The only reason you're playing ranked is to earn literally anything in this game. Casual match. No one's playing this. Why? You get nothing for playing this. No rewards, no progress on the battle pass, nothing. This was clearly tacked on last minute, and it's good for not getting your ass handed back to you on a full course tasting menu. In other words, do some silly shit. Duel rooms. This is where you and your dueling aficionados gather to match blow for blow with your collective meme decks. It's one of the good things about this game, and I've enjoyed matching my dumb cards against someone I like rather than a rando who I hate without regret for going tilted Gandhi a la Civilization series on my ass. The only thing holding it back is, like the casual matches, they earn you nothing for having fun. Event duels. The most interesting and unique of the 4, this semi-temporary option brings in wacky ways to fight other duelists. For a while it was great, acting as a break from the tryhard aura ranked oozed out with every match. Earning not only the base rewards, but separate extra bracket of rewards just for participating. And more if you use your own deck. From events that exclude ultra and secret rare cards, to ones that only allow you to use Synchro and XYZ extra decks. They had plenty of variety. It was great. Until people ruined it by bringing the meta into the mix. Then, the game designers ruined it by making a new meta with the nearly broken decks available for free by the events. Fun. Okay, let's talk about something brighter. The deck building. The deck building has some things to talk about, surprisingly. Firstly, it's nothing special to look at. Having standard searching, filtering, and sorting that we all expect at this point. What it has that others don't is crafting and favorites. With crafting, you gain materials from breaking down cards you either have an excess of or don't want. Making brand new cards for your strategies, and even better, unlocking some of those gate-kept booster packs for purchase. And sometimes a free pull at them. The favorite tab is exactly as it sounds, allowing you to click a star and bookmark a card waiting for you to do anything with it. Are these really the only good things right now? Well, honestly, it's a wonderful thing that this game runs beautifully with little to no hiccups. As sad as it is to say, it's a privilege to be able to complain about players being broken rather than the game. So let's give a moment of appreciation for having a game run so well so far. We good? Okay. Now, for my experience. I had what I can call a roller coaster of torture. Let's start with the highs before we plummet down further than hell itself. I like the accessibility. With it being available on basically every platform, this means anyone who wants to play can. It's free after all. I love playing with friends, and how easy it is to do so. It should go without saying, card games are intended to be multiplayer. Unless it's sports cards, then, I don't know, put your signed copy of MJ on the field, and it may survive like Karibo. You see, that's what I expected. This game makes playing against others with decks you create fun like it used to be. Plus, chances are you're older and less likely to be a sore loser. Honestly, everything I talked about in a positive light is more or less what I like about Yu-Gi-Oh! In whole. What I dislike is a lot more. This game constantly reminds you are dog shit at it. It gets drilled into you what this game has become as a whole, not just Master Duel. This game, from the most boomer opinion possible, it's too damn fast. I came from the age when Synchro was booming in its early years. Everyone loved it. It was fair at the beginning, and personally, if I got one out, it was an accomplishment, but wasn't a game ender. Nowadays, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels only last 1 to 5 minutes. Don't get me wrong, it's a blessing, with side effects. So, what's making duels last so short? The answer is so simple, it's complicated. Once upon a time, the goal of this game was to beat your opponent. Now, the goal is to not let your opponent have any fun whatsoever. Simple, right? Exactly. Yes, but not really. Imagine if you will. So you got a brand new deck, fresh from your local superstore. It's got decent cards, and you got friends that need a spanking. Ideally, this is Yu-Gi-Oh! Recreationally. So I bet you wonder, if this is recreation, what's the hard stuff? Well, let's put it like so. You go up against, let's say, a New Age veteran. You got your favorite deck, Blue Eyes Obliterator 69. Yes, that is its name. Don't make fun of it. And you go first. And that was your first mistake. No, it wasn't going first. It was challenging the Yu-Gi-Oh! Veteran. So your first move is crucial. Put something down. Oh, that's a nice looking Kaiba man. Oh wait. Oh wow, look at that. It managed to not only stop literally everything you tried, but summon all the cool things you wanted to, destroyed your hand and half your deck, ripped up Grandpa Moto's 4th Blue Eyes card again, and this card's effect says that they can steal one happy memory from you and change it to be bad instead. Congratulations, that first time you ever ate ice cream has now been altered to you ate frozen mustard on a cone and cried until you passed out. Now, the veteran has to end this quickly. He has a nap in half an hour. Yes, the opponent was 7. And you lost it. This is the feeling of hardcore card games. Dare to say no to cards, kids. You see what I mean? Everything is wild and spiteful nowadays in Yu-Gi-Oh! Am I supposed to have a smile after you stopped me from summoning a monster, negate my field, took my hand away, stole my wallet, mortgaged my house and bought Kaiba coin, told a joke that goes on for too long, spoiled the newest episode of that show I like, and just sit there knowing that this is how the game is now? Don't get me started on the metagame that is the chase. I guess in short, a lot of problems with Master Duel for me is honestly the bigger problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! This game just reminded me those problems exist. I don't know if the issues will ever clear up. I do know this game isn't the worst in truth. Honestly, it's amazing what an empire of creativity this franchise spawned, and I have nothing but love for the creator, who not only made our childhoods fun and exciting, with anime of spiky-haired master tacticians who pull off miracles, but also was a true hero himself, just like so many he's written before. Thank you, Kazuki Takahashi, for a legacy of wonder. Now, there's one more game I have my eye on. but it's also a Japan exclusive for now. Possibly. That being said, thank you all again for joining me on this wild ride. I'll see you in the next one.